couple of weeks before that, we were at Bible study and we were watching this video about saving yourself for your husband. And I was watching, I was engaging, I was paying attention, and I was looking at it, and I'm just like, fucking hell, she's one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life. And then the girl next to me, she goes, oh my God, how hot is he? And I went, oh, there's a man on the screen. Okay, all right, I don't know if I can run away from this anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even realise there was a man on the screen. Yeah. And I didn't even realise until she kind of pulled me back, because I was just like, wow, she's beautiful. Next minute, this person's like, oh, they're hot. And I'm like, oh, it's a man. Okay, cool. I'm supposed to be attracted to the man. And I just didn't even realise that they existed on the screen. Great. Then I was like, oh no, I think I really like Christy. I was 18, so it was legal. She went away and I missed her so much. Hated that I didn't see her for those couple of weeks. We'd just gone, I think there might be something here. And then that was it. She went and told an elder of the church that she was experiencing these feelings. They told everyone.
What is with people in the church not keeping fucking confidentiality?
100%.
Yeah.
It was like a week later. And let me preface this. The kid's dad is a good man. He's a good father. We co-parented great. Exactly a week after their divorce was finalised, he married Christy's ex-best friend. So...
okay.
Swings and roundabouts. There's a whole more lot going on. There's layers. Yeah. And he's so happy. Well, from all accounts, obviously, he's been with his wife for a long time. And the church found out up there. She told everyone I was excommunicated. I lost my job at the church, and they were the reason I was housed, which then I had to find other housing. And then at like 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, I don't know. It was dark. At night, the pastor asked me to come to the church and brought me into the office space where I opened the door and Stuart was. So he'd asked Stuart to come meet him. I'm looking back going, what the fuck? I walked in and the pastor was like, thank you for coming. The pastor's wife was sitting outside, didn't come in, just left me to be taken in. He's like, you need to pay penance to the husband. Nothing had fucking happened. Literally, we've gone, reckon we might have some feeling, right? And now I have to pay penance to this man because apparently I've ruined their life. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't remember anything until the end. I don't know what happened. I assumed... Yeah, I'm also 5'6". The pastor's 5'10". Stuart's 6'2". I'm an 18-year-old girl. And I'm like standing there, and he was allowed to say how much I hurt him and how much I damaged the relationship. And then Pastor Pete gets up and goes, you go and hug him. And I remember bawling my eyes out and him grabbing my arms and putting them around Stuart. I vaguely remember Stuart being as uncomfortable as me. Remember Stuart being like, oh, I don't know if we're crossing a line here. Like, because obviously he's hurt. Like, he's like, yeah, I want to be able to express how I feel, that this has really put a problem on my relationship with my wife. And then he's like, you need to hug him. And I think Stuart was like, oh, maybe.
Does she though?
Does she? I don't know if she does. Either way, he grabbed my arms and put it around. And I remember just falling apart after that. Like, I was so fucking scared. I was so traumatized because they'd also just, before that, the other church, I remember getting an exorcism. And the only bit I remember about that to try and pray the gay away was I remember being against one of the white walls because there was warm sun coming from the window. And the male pastor of that church bending over me screaming at the gay demon in me while I was like curled up on the floor, just like trying to get away from the exorcism while they were screaming at the demon. And I remember that. And then with the pastor in Broome, all I remember is him like, oh, you will give him a hug, you will say sorry, you beg for his forgiveness, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay. But I had a massive panic attack as I was riding home. Luckily, at the time, Christy's best friend from Perth checked in on me because Christy wasn't allowed to. Everything she was doing was monitored. Her phone, her internet connection. I know. It's outrageous. Not long after the forced cuddle, Christy rocked up on my doorstep with a suitcase. I don't know whether it was his decision. His parents had come up, taken the kids, signed the lease over of the house and left. All of them left. Christy had a suitcase outside, came home from work, nothing, couldn't get in. It was just a suitcase of her vinyls and some clothes. That was after we had gone, I think I've got some feelings for you. She was on my doorstep of the newly acquired house that I had with a suitcase going, I've actually got nowhere else to go. And I went, well, I guess you got to come in here. A little bit later on, Christy's like, I've got to go to Perth. I've got to go follow the kids. And I went, okay, and went with her. I didn't have to. And my littlest brother goes, I've always wondered why you did it. And I'm like, I don't know. She's one I loved her. I still do love her. I'm still very in love with her. I didn't think about it. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just having a moment.
Are you? What's wrong?
No, I'm just like...
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
This is why I don't talk.
I was just being very human.
Yeah.
And hoping that you weren't going to freak out about my humanness.
No. It's fucked. You know how I said I was a robot? The abuse was so bad. If Jesus was here, why isn't he looking after me? Like, why isn't he helping? Because we had bunk beds. And I know it happened irregularly, frequently. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Over a 4-year period, it might have happened more in 2 years and then like a handful of others. I don't remember. We had bunk bed. My sister and I had bunk beds, and he'd hold on to the top rail of the bunk bed and just like boot into where my bed was. And he'd just lock me in there with the lock on the outside. And so I'd just be stuck in there. I remember one day, I'm like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I can't be straight. Like, I can't be straight. Like, I can't stop liking women. I keep pissing off everybody I know. My mum fucking hates me. My stepdad hates me. The church hates me. And I did what you're supposed to do. I reached out to people. Like, I reached out to people that I trusted. You're supposed to do that. And so I did attempt to unalive myself. I remember the door being unlocked and mum walking in, and she laughed and she goes, "You're going to end up in G ward, girl," and then just called an ambulance and let them take me. And I remember lying in the hospital, and I'm lying in the hospital looking at the wall, and I'm just like, you can't even get that right. Like, in my head, I'm like, you can't even fucking get that right. Like, I've woken up in hospital, I couldn't even do this right. And then the robot in me went, all right, well, I've got to try something else then. Like, I'm like, well, you didn't, obviously this wasn't supposed to happen because you didn't do it successfully. You got to try something else. And so I moved. I look back at it and I'm like, it's a good thing, but it's so stupidly robotic. Like, all right, well, I tried to unalive myself, that failed, so I just try something else. Like, I kind of just went, well, I've got to try hope, I guess. Like, I just got to try hope that it's got to get better. And it wasn't in Broome. Well, I mean, it was
in ways.
Because then Christy and I had to move. We got stuck in the desert. She was working at Woolies. I was working at Macca's.
Yeah.
And I was 18, 19. I was getting like $20 an hour. Like, and renting, it was hard. Like, it was really hard. We saved up all our money, bought a car, because we didn't have a car. I had a scooter. When we had to buy groceries, I had to leave Christy there with the groceries, take one lot home on my scooter, then go back and pick her up and the groceries and take them home. We walked to work. We saved up money, we got a car, and we started driving. We packed up everything in the house, filled the car and started driving. Got about 8.5 hours outside of Broome into the desert. It was 52 degrees on the road. It was one of the hottest days. Our car blew up in the middle of the desert.
Fucking hell.
Me being the one who keeps the cool in situations, I had to drive back to Roebuck and back to Broome at about 30 kilometres an hour because our radiator... I also got out of the car without thongs on, so my feet ended up getting cut and burnt from the bitumen. Opened up the thing, went to grab the radiator with a rag. It exploded, so I went like this, and it cut. My hands were all burnt from the steam and the hot water.
Yeah.
So I had to leave it slightly open with the hood slightly up so that we could get back into Roebuck. We'd left at like 6 a.m. We'd gotten that far out. We didn't get back into Broome until... But somewhere between... We got to Roebuck at like 8 o'clock where we could make a phone call, and then we got to Broome at like 10 o'clock, like after we'd gotten... And then we had nowhere to go because we didn't have a place to stay. Macca's actually ended up helping me so much, but it's because of the licensee. And I will always be grateful for that man. He was insane. He was insanely generous. He was out of town and had one of his people house sitting his house. We went and crashed on their couch because while we were trying to figure out what we're going to do. We went to try and get plane tickets, which was wiping out our savings that we were using for a bond to get a house in Perth. And then they were like, we have our entire life in boxes. So we went down to the park because we had to leave the house. We went down to the park and had to cull all our stuff so that we could get it into 4 suitcases or whatever to get on a plane. And then they said to us, we got there and they're like, that's $1,200 in excess baggage. And I'm like, fuck. Then one of the people I'd worked with at Macca's now worked at the airport, waived all of it. So we were able to get to Perth. And so then we slept on couches for a while until we saved up enough money to get a bond to get our own place. And then that's where we kind of just started trying to rebuild, which was, it was an insane beginning. Like, Mum, we were getting married. Like, we decided, we were together 4 years before we got like said that we were going to have a commitment ceremony. My mum was refusing to be a part of it, so refused to be a part of it, which is fine. And then was refusing to let my youngest brother, because my youngest brother is 10 years younger than me, so they were refusing to let him be a part of it. He would have been like 15-ish. And I wanted him to be a part of it, but eventually, this is what Mum said, but apparently Mum was like, I realised that it wasn't worth losing the relationship with you over, with me. And so brought my youngest brother up, and he was wearing a suit even though he couldn't be involved because like Mum hadn't let him be involved. I was so happy. Like I love him. I love my younger brother very much. I don't know whether that's true. I don't know. We'd go to Christmas parties and my auntie would refuse to acknowledge Christy existed. Like talk over her. Christy'd start talking at the Christmas table and she'd just start talking. But yeah, the coming out, it was really shit. Coming out, I didn't even get to come out. It was really shit. I just don't think it would happen as much anymore. I graduated in 2005, so... Because I was also bullied when I went to the new school when they found out. And I did the right thing. I told the teacher. So it was a group of like, maybe a year younger than me and max. They would follow me around and like throw rocks at me and shit, right? And I told the teacher, I'm like, this is getting out of hand. Like, you guys need to help me.
Do something.
Please do something. And then they didn't. One of them tried to branch out on their own because I was walking across like where the lockers were. And because there was only one of them, I lost my shit. I turned around and I like slammed him against the lockers. Because he threw a rock at me and I like threw rocks at me again and like cut up my forehead. I was bleeding down my arm and I like smashed him up against the thing. He's got blood splattered over his face from my head wound. And I'm just like, dude. I was like, leave me alone. And then I just walked straight to the principal's office and I was like, I've just beat shit out of that kid because of this, because you fuckers wouldn't do anything. And then the next day the kid was suspended. I was like, why did I have to get to this? Like, why did I have to get to this? I was telling you, I was trying to do the right thing, but I didn't get in trouble. Yeah. But I went and told him straight away. I didn't go back to class. I was like, well, I just beat up someone and I'm fucking bleeding everywhere. I'm going to have to go to the principal and tell him what I did. So I just walked in there and I'm like, you guys needed to help me. This happened. Yeah. But yeah, it was fucked. Like, it was just 7 levels of fucked. I have a problem with organised religion.
I think it's anywhere that isn't inclusive.
Yeah.
Anything that projects shame onto you for just being who you are. And I think religion does a really big job of that, but also not just religion. All sorts of organised groups in general. Religion, big tick for probably being the umbrella for that. But yeah, well, that like I said, that's my sunshine and rainbow coming out story. Well, fuck. I've been sober for a long time and I feel like...
And this is where I said to you, and this is why I can say it so genuinely, my objectivity and my naivety around, objectivity and just being a bit of a robot. Like, I'm like, tried being straight, didn't work. Tried unaliving myself, didn't work. Tried doing this, didn't work. So I just kept trying. Yeah. Right?
The survival in you is strong.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, well, that didn't work. In my mind, I didn't go, we'll go back and try again. It's weird. I just didn't go, well, it felt like... I guess resourcefulness because of like very deeply poor. I would make sure that my brothers and sisters had sandwiches. Like what I would take to school would be 4 fruit snacks, like 4 bars of fruit snacks to eat for the whole day. Like we were so poor. Like we got the packets of 6 assorted cereals of like Frosty Flakes. Yeah. That was our Christmas present. And we were ecstatic.
Little baby boxes of cereal are very exciting.
They're dope.
Like, that's joy.
That is. I didn't know we were poor because there was stuff. Mum always had stuff. And as I've gotten older and started psychology, I know that is a narcissistic tendency to produce grandeur, right? And hide it. Yeah. So she always had the jewellery, right? All the jewellery, the gold jewellery and like fucking stuff everywhere. Like there'd be that wall, but everything would be chock-a-block. Like china cabinets full of stuff to show. Yeah. So I didn't realise as much, but not in the positive way. Like I knew that we weren't as well off as my friends, but I didn't really understand how bad we were off. So not only was I the weird kid who was gay, but I was extremely poor, very poorly dressed. But yeah, like I was saying, like everything was going on, and then the man who was beating shit out of me was the only person who didn't tell me I was going to hell and gross. So then when I found out he was passing away, I was like, I didn't realise how much I'd like holding on to that. Because there's like if that hadn't happened and Mum hadn't cared about the way I presented, she didn't care about me at all, which meant that she didn't care about what I did, like, and how I presented. So I didn't have that shame around being a tomboy.
Yeah.
So I didn't have dysmorphia in that sort of sense. Like, I longed to be more feminine. I didn't want to wear a dress to her wedding. And she goes, okay, don't. Everyone else was like, she should have to wear a dress, like, blah, blah. And Mum's like, I don't care.
Because she literally just...
Because she literally didn't care. But in the moment, I'm like, yeah, motherfuckers, I'm going to wear a suit. My mum doesn't care, so I'm not going to care, right? Like,
yeah.
And I look back and I'm like, those moments, whilst, like, they were fun, I don't know if I would have survived without those moments. So I clung to it so hard. And then when I found out that he was passing, I was like, I don't reckon I would have survived without him. I reckon I would have survived far better without him. But it's like, if he hadn't been there, I don't reckon I would, like, he was the only reason I felt safe to go home, which is so weird because it was also the place that I didn't feel safe. So, like, I knew that he was going to beat shit through me, but at least he didn't hate me.
But that was a level of safety in knowing what you knew.
Yep. And he wasn't going to, he didn't,
God.
He didn't sit there and shame me. Like, my mum would shame me a lot for those things and talk about how much it hurt her and all that sort of stuff. He didn't. He'd beat the shit through me, but he wouldn't belittle me. So it was this bizarre situation that, like, as an adult, I'm like, I don't even know if I can get my head around it. But that's what I grew up in. That's all I knew. I don't know. It's so bizarre. Yeah, because I knew it was a completely unsafe environment. I knew I was going to get hurt. But at least if I was around him, I wasn't wrong. Because I was wrong. I was broken. Because the exorcism didn't work, initially. Like, there was something wrong with me, but at least my physical abuser didn't think so. Fucking hell. I wish I could, I just don't know. He always asks about me. He always asks my brother how I'm doing. Because I just think he was completely ill-prepared.
Wow.
And I would be disappointed if he didn't, which is weird. I like that he had asked.
Because he cares.
Because he cared. Which is why I genuinely believe that with an apology from a man that was born in the 40s, like a genuine apology with, like, heartfelt tears, I just think he was ill-prepared, led by the wrong people. I can only imagine how someone who is not the smartest, who doesn't have emotional intelligence, who was taught the way that he was taught to deal with people from his parents. I think he just fucked it up. He gave it a punt and royally fucked it up.
And having an understanding doesn't excuse behaviours.
Oh, absolutely not.
But it gives an understanding.
It gives an understanding.
Like, in something that makes no sense.
Yeah.
For you to just be okay.